Most people will never master their impulses. Not because they are weak, but because they have never been taught how to be free. There are invisible strings that pull at you throughout the day. An urge to check your phone, a sudden craving for something sweet, a flash of anger in traffic. We think of these as small, fleeting moments, but they are not. They are the threads of a web, and over time, we find ourselves tangled. This isn't a journey about adding more rules, more apps, or more pressure. It is about understanding the ancient art of cutting those strings. It is about finding the quiet space between a feeling and a reaction. It is a path not to a life of rigid control, but to one of profound and simple peace. We will not be adding chains, but rather finding the keys to unlock the ones already there. There's a stranger living inside you. Have you met them? This is the person who agrees to wake up at 5 a.m. the night before, full of resolve and purpose. But the one who actually wakes up when the alarm rings is someone else entirely. A stranger who groans, who sees only darkness, who feels only the weight of the day, and whose hand moves, as if by its own will, to hit the snooze button. This is the person who promises a loved one patience and understanding. But the one who responds to a spilled glass of water or a careless comment is a stranger with a sharp tongue and a cold heart. You don't know this person, and yet they wear your face. They use your voice. And they leave you to clean up the mess, to carry the weight of the promises they break. This is the great, draining internal war. A constant cycle of resolution and failure. Each failure is a small wound, and over time, these wounds collect into a deep and weary shame. We start to believe the stranger is the real us, and the one who makes the promises is the fool. We see this struggle as a failure of willpower. We think we need to be stronger, tougher, more disciplined. We try to fight this ghost, to wrestle it into submission. But what if the entire premise is wrong? What if it's not a ghost to be exorcised, but a wild horse to be understood? A part of you that is not malicious, but simply untrained, running on instinct and old fear. The Stoics knew this. They understood that the problem isn't the horse, but the rider who doesn't know how to ride. Our life, our energy, is like a vessel. We try so hard to fill it. We pour in good intentions, self-help books, inspiring quotes, and New Year's resolutions. We want to be full of peace, full of focus, full of discipline. But the vessel is leaking. It's riddled with tiny, invisible cracks. A crack of mindless scrolling on a phone, stealing minutes that become hours. A crack of reactive anger in traffic, draining our emotional reserves. A crack of seeking easy comfort in food or distraction, avoiding the slight discomfort of doing the real work. So we end the day feeling empty. Not because we didn't try to fill ourselves up, but because we never stopped to inspect the vessel. We never learned to seal the leaks. Imagine it's late. The house is quiet. The day is done. You find yourself standing in the cold blue light of the refrigerator. In your hand is the very thing you swore to yourself just this morning you would not touch. The feeling that washes over you isn't hunger. It's a profound, hollow disappointment. It's not about the sugar or the calories. It is about the broken contract with yourself. The feeling of being out of control in your own home, in your own mind. In that moment, the ghost has won again. The shift we are looking for is not one of greater force. It is a shift from self-blame to curiosity. To stop asking, what is wrong with me? And to begin gently to ask, what is happening within me? Let's find out. Why do you give away your peace so easily? A driver cuts you off in traffic, and in an instant, your heart is pounding, your face is hot, your day is stained with anger. A stranger you will never see again has reached into your chest and taken control of your nervous system. You post something online, you wait, you see the numbers, the comments. Someone disagrees, someone is critical. And for the next 3 hours, Your mind is a courtroom, rehearsing arguments, defending your case, feeling the sting of a stranger's fleeting opinion. You have handed the keys to your happiness to people who do not even know you exist. This is the anxiety of modern life. We are tethered to everything, and so we are in control of nothing. Our peace depends on the economy, on the news, on our boss's mood, on our partner's validation, on the weather. We live with our hands outstretched, begging the world to be gentle with us. But the world is not gentle. The world is chaos. The first and most foundational lesson of the Stoics is to stop begging. It is a lesson from Epictetus, a man who was born a slave and who learned the meaning of freedom in the most brutal of circumstances. He taught a simple but world-changing idea, the dichotomy of control. He said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, our office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." This isn't just an intellectual exercise. This is the blueprint for a fortress. Imagine your mind as a citadel, a fortress standing on a hill. Inside its walls are all the things you control: your beliefs, your choices, your judgments, your will to act. This is your kingdom. Everything outside the walls, the traffic, the weather, other people's opinions, sickness, wealth, reputation, is the wild, unpredictable landscape. It is not yours to command. Most of us live with the gates of our fortress wide open. We let the armies of public opinion march right in. We allow the storms of the economy to flood our courtyards. We let the stray arrows of a stranger's comment strike the king himself. And then we wonder why our inner kingdom is in a constant state of turmoil. Self-control is not about controlling the world outside the walls. That is impossible. Self-control is about learning to guard the gate. It is the practice of seeing an event, an emotion, or an impulse arrive at the gate and calmly asking, "Are you within my control or not?" If it is not, you do not let it in. You observe it. You acknowledge it. You might even respect the power of the storm outside. But you do not grant it entry into your soul. Think of that moment in traffic. The car cuts you off. That is an event outside the fortress. It has happened. It is in the past. But the anger, the rising heat, the story you tell yourself about the injustice of it all, that is an internal reaction. You have opened the gate and let the chaos in. What if you didn't? What if you saw the car, acknowledged the event, and kept the gate firmly closed? The event happens, but it does not happen to you. It does not pierce the walls of your citadel. You choose your response. You can take a deep breath. You can turn up the music. You can even feel a moment of gratitude that an accident was avoided. You choose the climate of your own mind, even when the climate of the world is hostile. This isn't about apathy. It is not about pretending you don't care. It is about directing your care where it is actually effective. You cannot control the traffic, but you can control whether you arrive at your destination with a heart full of peace or a heart full of poison. What part of your life is outside the fortress walls, yet you are trying desperately to command it? What opinions of others have you allowed to become your own law? The practice is simple, but not easy. The next time you feel that pull of anxiety, anger, or despair, pause at the gate. Identify the thing that is troubling you, and ask the question Epictetus taught us to ask: is this mine, or is it not mine? The peace you are seeking is not on the other side of the battlefield. It is inside the walls you have not yet learned to guard. Your world is too small. That is the problem. A single critical email from your boss can feel like a death sentence. It can hijack your entire day, replaying in your mind on a loop. An argument with your partner about something trivial can feel like the end of the world, a storm contained within the four walls of your home. A social mistake, a moment of embarrassment, can feel so huge, so monumental, that you wish the earth would swallow you whole. When we are in the grip of these moments, our perspective shrinks. The problem fills the entire screen of our consciousness. There is no room for anything else. This is not a moral failing. It is a trick of the mind. Our brains are wired for immediate threats. But in a world where most of our threats are psychological, this wiring leads to chronic, outsized stress. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man in the world at the time, felt this same pressure. He was besieged by plagues, wars, betrayals, and the immense weight of an empire. How did he maintain his composure? He practiced a mental exercise we now call the view from above. In his private journal, he wrote to himself, "Think of the substance of all things, of which you have a very small part, and of the time of all things, of which a short and fleeting interval has been assigned to you, and of the works of destiny, in which your share is how small." This is not an act of self-pity. It is an act of radical perspective. Imagine you could, right now, float up from your chair. You see yourself in your room. Then you float higher, seeing the building you are in, the street, the neighborhood. Higher still, you see the entire city laid out below you like a glittering circuit board. A complex web of lights and lives, millions of them, each with their own dramas, their own heartbreaks, their own tiny, all-consuming worlds. Float higher. See your country, the continent. See the gentle curve of the earth, a swirl of blue and white, hanging in an infinite silent blackness. See this planet for what it is, a small, beautiful speck of dust in an ocean of stars so vast it is incomprehensible. Now, from this vantage point, from this cosmic perch, look for your problem. Look for that email. Look for that argument. Look for that embarrassment. Where is it? It has vanished. It has been dissolved by the sheer scale of reality. This is the power of the view from above. It is a tool to break the spell of the immediate. It's like being lost in the tangled streets of a dense ancient city. Every corner you turn, every dead end you hit, feels like a catastrophe. You are tragic. But then someone hands you a map. You unfold it, and suddenly you see the entire city. You see where you are, where you want to go, and the dozens of paths that connect the two. The panic subsides. The frustration of that single, wrong turn becomes insignificant in the context of the whole. This mental practice is your map. Think of yourself lying in bed at night, unable to sleep. Your mind is replaying a mistake you made at work, a clumsy phrase in a meeting, a deadline missed. The anxiety is a hot, tight knot in your chest. It feels so important, so real. Now try it. Float up. See yourself in your bed. See the quiet houses of your neighbors where others are sleeping, dreaming, or perhaps lying awake with their own knots of anxiety over their own mistakes. See the whole sleeping city. Think of all the mistakes made today in that city alone. The millions of clumsy phrases and missed deadlines. Think of the river of time. Think of all the people who have lived and died on the very spot where you are now lying. Think of the centuries that have passed and the centuries that are yet to come. In the context of that immense flowing river, what is the true weight of your mistake? Will anyone remember it in a year, a month, even a week? The emotional shift is not one of making you feel small and worthless. It is the opposite. It is a profound release. It is the unclenching of a fist you didn't even realize you were making. The sharp, personal, suffocating nature of your problem cools into a calm awareness of its true size. Your life is the sky, not a single cloud. This practice helps you remember that. It does not erase the clouds, but it reminds you of the vast blue expanse they are passing through. And no cloud, no matter how dark, can ever stain the sky. Most of our suffering is not caused by the things that happen, but by our fear of the things that might happen. We live in a state of low-grade, chronic dread. The dread of losing a job, The dread of a bad medical diagnosis, the dread of rejection, the dread of failure. This fear of the future is a ghost that haunts our present. It makes us timid. It prevents us from taking risks, from speaking our truth, from living with an open heart. We walk on eggshells around a future that exists only in our imagination. We are held prisoner by a monster we have never actually seen. The Stoics offered a strange and powerful antidote to this fear. It comes from Seneca, a man who knew immense wealth and power, but also exile and a death sentence. His solution was not to think positive, to hope for the best, or to distract himself. It was the opposite. He advised the practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, it sounds pessimistic, but it is one of the most powerful psychological tools ever devised for creating tranquility. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." What he meant was this: surprise is the weapon of misfortune. When something bad happens unexpectedly, it delivers two blows. The first is the event itself. The second, and often more powerful blow, is the shock. The shock paralyzes us. It throws us into chaos, panic, and despair. Premeditatio malorum is the practice of disarming surprise. It is about sitting down in a calm and rational state of mind and rehearsing the things you fear. Not to dwell on them, not to wallow in them, but to inspect them, to look them in the eye and strip them of their power. Think of it like a fire drill. The purpose of a fire drill in a school is not to make children live in constant terror of fire. It is the exact opposite. It is to prepare them so that in the unlikely event a real fire occurs, they do not panic. They know the plan. They know where the exits are. They can act with reason instead of being consumed by fear. This practice is a fire drill for the soul. Imagine you have a big presentation at work tomorrow. You're anxious. Your mind is swirling with all the things that could go wrong. The projector could fail. You could forget your words. The audience could be bored or hostile. The typical response is to push these fears away, to tell yourself, "Don't think about that. Be positive." The Stoic response is to do the opposite. You sit with the fear. You walk through each scenario, calmly and methodically. Okay, what if the projector fails? You make a plan. I will have my notes printed out. I will have a copy of the presentation on a tablet. I can speak directly to the audience, which might even be more engaging. What if I forget my words? You make a plan. I can pause. I can take a sip of water. I can look at my notes. I can be honest and say, "Let me just gather my thoughts for a moment." The audience is human. They will understand. What if they look bored? You make a plan. I can change my energy. I can ask a question to re-engage them. I can tell a story. Do you see what is happening? You are not predicting failure. You are planning for resilience. You are turning vague, terrifying monsters in the dark into manageable problems in the light. You are proving to yourself, in advance, that you can handle it. The fear of public speaking is not really a fear of speaking. It's a fear of being judged, of being seen as incompetent. By walking through the worst-case scenarios, you realize that even if they happen, you will survive. You will not die of embarrassment. The world will not end. You will handle it. Seneca would go further. He would recommend meditating on losing his wealth, on being exiled, on falling ill. By imagining these things, he inoculated himself against the fear of them. He discovered that the reality of his own inner strength was more powerful than any external circumstance. The emotional shift here is profound. It moves you from a state of vague, paralyzing dread to one of quiet, rational confidence. The anxiety doesn't always vanish completely, but its teeth have been removed. You have met the monster in your mind, and you have discovered it was mostly shadow. You have looked your fears in the face, and in doing so, you have remembered your own strength. Our world is a conspiracy against our own strength. It is a world built on a single seductive promise: comfort. The temperature is always controlled. Food, entertainment, and connection are available with a single click, delivered to our door. We have been so successful at engineering discomfort out of our lives that we have forgotten how to live with it. This has made us soft, not in body, but in spirit. We have become fragile. When real, unavoidable hardship arrives, a financial crisis, a sudden illness, a deep loss, a betrayal, we are shattered. We have no practice in being uncomfortable. Our tolerance for any kind of friction is so low that we overreact to the smallest things. A slow internet connection causes rage. A delayed flight feels like a personal tragedy. We have become like hothouse flowers, beautiful and delicate, but utterly incapable of surviving a single night of frost. The Stoics saw this danger 2,000 years ago. They knew that a life lived only in comfort creates a soul that is weak. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, one of the great forgotten Stoics, taught that the path to a strong character was through intentional, voluntary hardship. It means choosing, on purpose, to be uncomfortable. Why would anyone do this? Because of the metaphor of the blacksmith's fire. To create a strong, resilient, and useful sword, a blacksmith cannot protect the metal from the fire. The fire is essential. The metal must be heated until it glows, pulled from the flames, and then hammered, beaten into shape. It is then plunged into the cold water, and the process is repeated. The metal that is kept away from this process, that is left on a shelf in a comfortable room, remains a useless, soft lump of iron. Our character is that metal. Our soul is that metal. And the voluntary discomforts we choose are the fire and the hammer: a cold shower, fasting for a day, sleeping on the floor for a night, a workout that you push through even when every muscle screams to stop, walking or biking when you could easily drive. These are not punishments, they are training. They are the blacksmith's fire. With each act of chosen discomfort, you are heating the metal of your spirit, hammering out the impurities, and tempering it into something hard, resilient, and useful. Think of the feeling, that moment of dread, right before you step into a cold shower. Your entire body, your entire nervous system, is screaming nitrogen monoxide. It is begging for the familiar comfort of the warm water. It is a primal, powerful urge, but you choose the cold. You step in. In that single moment of decision, you are rewiring your brain. You are sending a clear, powerful message to the deepest parts of yourself. I am in charge, not my fleeting desires, not my craving for comfort. I am. The initial shock of the cold is intense. But then something happens. Your body adapts, your breathing deepens. And when you step out, you feel an incredible electric sense of vitality. You are buzzing with life. But more than that, you feel a quiet, profound sense of self-respect. You didn't just wash your body, you cleansed your will. You faced a small dragon and won. This practice builds what psychologists now call distress tolerance. It's the ability to withstand negative emotional or physical states. By practicing with small controlled doses of discomfort, you build up your immunity. You are proving to yourself, in your own body, that you can endure more than you think. So, when the unavoidable discomforts of life arrive, the big ones, you are no longer a fragile hothouse flower. You are the tempered steel. You have been in the fire before. You know you will not break. You know that discomfort is just a sensation, and that you are the one who chooses what it means. What is one small voluntary discomfort you could introduce into your life this week? Could you turn the water to cold for the last 30 seconds of your shower? Could you skip a meal and just drink water? Could you leave your phone in another room for an entire evening? The path to resilience is not found in avoiding difficulty. It is found by walking toward it on your own terms. The emotional shift is from being a slave to your own comfort to becoming the master of your own resilience. It is the move from a life of fragility to a life of grounded, unshakable, inner toughness. Why do you let the words of others become the house you live in? A critical comment from a coworker, a passive-aggressive remark from a family member, an insult from a stranger online. These things can echo in our minds for hours, even days. They can stain our mood, steal our focus, and poison our peace. We grant other people a terrifying amount of power. We allow their fleeting opinions, their moods, their judgments to become our reality. We have outsourced our self-worth. We feel good only when the world outside gives us permission to. This leaves us perpetually vulnerable, constantly scanning the faces and words of others for a sign of our own value. It is an exhausting way to live. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, was perhaps the most judged man of his time. He was surrounded by politics, by gossip, by people who wanted his power, by people who flattered him, and by people who hated him. His sanity depended on one of the most powerful ideas in all of Stoicism, the cultivation of an inner citadel. He wrote to himself, "Today I escaped from the crush of circumstances. Or better, I threw them out, for the crush was not outside me but in my own opinions." This is a revolutionary idea. The problem is not the insult. The problem is our judgment that it is an insult. People cannot harm your soul, your core self. They can only harm your body or your reputation. Your inner peace is damaged only if you consent to it. Being damaged. Imagine your mind is a soundproof room. This is your inner citadel. It is the core of your consciousness, your reason, your ability to choose. Outside this room is a hurricane of noise. The noise of other people's opinions, their praise, their criticism, their demands, their anger, their gossip. You can observe all this noise through a thick, unbreakable window. You can see it, you can acknowledge it, you can even learn from it, but none of it can penetrate the room and disturb your peace, unless you make the conscious choice to unlatch the door and let it in. Most of us don't just leave the door unlocked. We hold it wide open. An insult flies by, and we grab it, pull it inside, and spend the rest of the day examining it, feeling its poison seep into the air of our sacred inner space. Self-control, in this context, is the art of learning to keep the door closed. It is the realization that the opinions of others are just noise. They are vibrations in the air. They are pixels on a screen. They are not facts about you. They are facts about the person who spoke them. Their anger is theirs. Their judgment is theirs. It comes from their life, their pain, their perception of the world. It has nothing, ultimately, to do with the truth of who you are. Think of receiving an unnecessarily harsh email from a colleague. The initial, untrained reaction is a hot flush of shame or anger. You feel the sting of the words. You feel personally attacked. Your body tenses. Your mind starts racing, composing a defensive reply. You have opened the door. The Stoic practice is to pause. Right in that moment, before you react, you see the email. You feel the initial sting. And you say to yourself, "This is just noise outside the walls." You retreat into your soundproof room. From this place of calm, you can look at the email objectively through the window. What are the facts here? Pixels on a screen, arranged in a certain order. The person who sent it is likely stressed or insecure or having a bad day. Their tone is their problem. The substance of the email, the actual work issue, might be something you need to address. And from the calm of your citadel, you can choose to do just that. You can write a calm, professional reply that addresses the facts of the matter without absorbing the emotional poison of the tone. You act, you do not react. The emotional shift is profound. It's the difference between feeling wounded and feeling detached. It's the realization that your dignity, your self-worth, is not a fragile thing that other people can break. It is a fortress that only you can surrender. Have you given someone The keys to your citadel? Do you allow their moods to dictate your own? The next time you feel that sting of criticism, try to retreat. See it as noise outside the walls. Observe it, and then choose deliberately what you will do. You will find that the peace you were looking for was never in changing their opinion, but in realizing their opinion never had to matter in the first place. There is a war that we wage every single day. A war against reality. A flight is delayed and we rage against the injustice of it. We get sick and we resent our own body. A relationship ends and we get lost in an endless loop of what-ifs and should-have-beens. We are laid off from a job and we feel that the universe has made a terrible mistake. We are constantly fighting what is. This shouldn't have happened. It's not fair. Things should be different. This resistance, this constant pushing against the current of life, is the source of almost all our misery. It is like trying to swim up a powerful waterfall. It is exhausting, pointless, and it will break you. What if there was another way? A way that was not about giving up, but about a deeper kind of victory. The Stoics had a word for this: acceptance. But the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who was deeply influenced by the Stoics, took it a step further. He gave it a name that is both terrifying and beautiful: Amor Fati. The love of fate. It is not just to bear what is necessary, but to love it. It is to not just accept what happens, but to embrace it, to welcome it, to see it as essential and vital, as if you had chosen it yourself. It is to treat every single moment of your life, the painful and the beautiful, the bitter and the sweet, as a necessary ingredient in the creation of you. This is one of most difficult and most liberating ideas in all of philosophy. The metaphor is that of a sculptor and a block of stone. We all wish we were given a perfect block of marble to work with, smooth, flawless, and pure white. But life does not work that way. We are given a block of stone with cracks, with impurities, with difficult, stubborn grain. We can spend our entire lives cursing the stone we were given. We can complain about its flaws. We can dream of the beautiful statue we could have carved, if only we had better material. This is the war against reality. Amor Fati is the decision to fall in love with the stone you have. It is to look at the cracks, the imperfections, and to say, this is what makes my sculpture unique. These challenges will force me to be a better artist. It is the realization that the obstacle itself is the path. The flaw in the stone becomes the most interesting feature of the final statue. Imagine you are laid off from a job you thought was secure. A job that was part of your identity. The initial shock is brutal. It feels like a death. Fear, anger, and a deep sense of injustice wash over you. The mind screams, this shouldn't be happening. You are at war with the past, trying to change something that is already done. The practice of Amor Fati is a radical, courageous shift in perspective. It's the moment you finally stop fighting. You stop swimming against the waterfall. You let go. And in that surrender, you ask a new question. Not why did this happen to me? But okay, this has happened. What does this now make possible? Maybe this is the push you needed to go back to school. Maybe this is the universe clearing the path for you to start that business you've been dreaming about for years. Maybe this is an opportunity to move to a new city, or to spend a few months reconnecting with your family. Maybe the loss of this identity will force you to find a deeper, more resilient one within yourself. You begin to see the event not as a senseless tragedy, but as a necessary plot twist in the epic story of your life. A plot twist that will, in the end, make the story far more interesting than if everything had gone according to your small, timid plan. This does not mean it doesn't hurt. The pain is real. Amor Fati is not about denying pain. It is about refusing to add a layer of unnecessary suffering on top of the pain. The suffering comes from the resistance, from the story that this shouldn't be. The pain is just pain. It can be borne. It can even be used. It can be the chisel that carves you into something new. What are you fighting against in your own life right now? A circumstance? A past event? A part of yourself? What would it feel like to stop fighting? To drop the weapons, to look at the thing you have been resisting, and to say, I welcome you. You are a part of my story. Show me what you are here to teach me. The emotional shift is from a state of bitter, powerless resistance to one of creative, powerful acceptance. The immense weight of what if and if only is lifted from your shoulders, replaced by the exhilarating freedom of what now. Asterisk, you are wasting your life. You are wasting it in small, imperceptible increments. A minute of scrolling here. An hour of mindless television there. A day spent worrying about something that will not matter in a week. A week spent holding a grudge that brings you no peace. We live as if we are immortal. We act as if the bank account of our time is infinite. We put off the important things for a mythical future moment called someday. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll learn that instrument. Someday I'll have that difficult conversation. Someday I'll tell the people I love how much they truly mean to me. That we live as if we have endless time to get it right. But we don't. This is not a threat. It is the most powerful and clarifying truth of our existence. And the Stoics believed that keeping this truth at the front of our minds was the secret to a good life. They had a phrase for it, a phrase they would whisper to themselves in the halls of power and on the fields of battle. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Far from being morbid or depressing. This practice is a tool for creating radical urgency and profound appreciation. It is an instrument for sorting the trivial from the essential. Your life is a burning candle. The wax is melting, steadily, irreversibly, with every second that passes. You cannot stop it. You cannot slow it down. All you can choose is how to. Use the light. You can let the candle burn in a drafty, chaotic room where its flame gutters and flickers, wasted on the shadows of distraction and petty grievance. Or you can carry your candle into a quiet, purposeful space. You can use its precious finite light to read a great book, to create a piece of art, to write a letter to someone you love, to look into the eyes of another person and be truly present, to illuminate what actually matters. Memento mori is the constant, quiet awareness of the melting wax. It is the ultimate filter for your decisions. When you are faced with a choice, you can ask yourself this simple, terrifying question. If I were to die tomorrow, is this how I would spend my day? Suddenly, the choice becomes very clear. The argument you were about to start seems pointless. The temptation to procrastinate evaporates. The fear of taking a chance, of looking foolish, seems laughably small compared to the cosmic tragedy of a life. UNOIVE. Think of seeing an old photograph of yourself as a child, or a picture of a loved one who is no longer with you. There is a sudden sharp intake of breath, a poignant ache, a visceral understanding of the relentless, unstoppable passage of time. That moment in the photograph is gone. It is a ghost. It exists only in memory. That feeling, that bittersweet clarity, is the feeling of memento mori. It cuts through the noise and the nonsense of your daily life like a laser. It shows you what is real. Do the small anxieties and irritations of this Tuesday afternoon truly matter in the face of this vast, beautiful, and terrifying reality? The practice is to carry that feeling with you, not as a heavy weight of dread, but as a light, sharp compass. A compass that always points toward what is meaningful. It helps you say no to the things that waste your life, and yes to the things that give it meaning. The emotional shift is from a state of distracted, sleepy procrastination to one of sharp, vibrant urgency and deep appreciation. You stop taking your days for granted. You begin to see every moment, every breath, every conversation as the precious, unrepeatable, and sacred gift that it is. And you start to live accordingly. When you are alone, in the dark, who are you? When no one is watching, when there are no consequences, when you are faced with a choice between the easy thing and the right thing, which way do you turn? For many of us, the answer is inconsistent. Our self-control is a flickering light, not a steady flame. It depends on our mood, our energy levels, our circumstances. We have a vague desire to be a good person, to be disciplined, to be honorable. But this desire is often an abstract fog. We are trying to draw a straight line without a ruler. We are trying to navigate a moral landscape without a compass. And so we drift. The Stoics knew that willpower alone is not enough. We are social creatures. We are imitative creatures. We need models. We need examples. The philosopher Seneca gave this powerful advice to his friend Lucilius. He said, "We must choose a good man and always have him before our eyes, so that we may live as if he were watching and do everything as if he could see what we do." He was telling his friend to choose a Cato. Cato the Younger was a Roman statesman famous for his unwavering integrity, his immunity to corruption, and his fierce dedication to his principles. He was, for the Stoics, the ultimate role model. Advice is this: find someone whose character you deeply admire and live as if they are your silent companion. This person becomes your external standard for your internal behavior. Think of this person as your guiding star. For ancient sailors crossing a vast, dark, featureless ocean, the North Star was everything. The waves could toss their ship, the winds could change, their own sense of direction could fail them, but the star remained a fixed, reliable point in the sky. By keeping their eyes on it, they could navigate the chaos and find their way home. Your chosen Cato, it could be a historical figure like Marcus Aurelius, a spiritual leader, a grandparent, a mentor, or even a fictional character, is your North Star. When you are lost in the sea of your own emotions, when you are tempted by an impulse, when you are faced with a difficult choice, you look up. You ask the question, what would they do right now? How would they handle the situation? What choice would make them proud? Suddenly, the choice is no longer just about you. It is no longer just about your immediate gratification or your immediate comfort. It is about living up to the standard that this person represents. It is about honoring the values you claim to admire. Imagine you are at work. You have made a mistake. You have an opportunity to cover it up, to shift the blame to a colleague. No one will likely ever know. It's the easy way out, the path of least resistance. You feel the pull of that temptation. It's strong. Now bring your Cato into the room. Visualize them, standing quietly in the corner, watching you. Not with judgment, but with a calm, steady expectation. This person you admire, this embodiment of integrity. Could you look them in the eye and tell that lie? Could you shift that blame while they watched? The answer is likely no. The shame would be too great. Not because you fear their punishment, but because you would be disappointing your own highest self, the self that you see reflected in them. Their imagined presence gives you the strength to do the harder, better thing, to own your mistake, to accept the consequences, to choose character over comfort. Who is your Cato? If you don't have one, choose one now. It can be anyone whose virtues you wish to emulate. Write their name down. Keep a picture of them, and the next time you are at a crossroads, invite them in. Let them be your guide. The emotional shift is from a state of private, wavering temptation to one of quiet, dignified accountability. Even when you are alone, you are not truly alone. You have a companion, a guide, a star to navigate by. And this changes everything. You are not upset by the things that happen to you. You are upset by your story about the things that happen to you. This is one of the most challenging and transformative ideas in all of Stoic thought, and it is the key to true emotional self-control. We live in a state of constant, instantaneous reaction. An event occurs, and in the same microsecond, we slap a label on it. This is bad. This is an insult. This is a disaster. This is wonderful. Our emotions are not triggered by the event itself, but by the label, the judgment, that we instantly attach to it. This hair-trigger judgment mechanism is the source of almost all our inner turmoil. The anger, the anxiety, the despair, it's not coming from the outside world. It is coming from the echo of our own snap decisions, our own unexamined stories. Epictetus, the slave philosopher, taught his students a powerful mental discipline to break this cycle. He told them to practice creating a space, a pause, between a sensory impression and their assent to it. When something difficult happened, he taught them to say to themselves, "You are just an impression, and not at all what you appear to be. Think of your mind as a still, clear mirror. When an event happens in the world, the mirror reflects it perfectly, exactly as it is, without distortion. A car cuts you off. The mirror reflects a car changing lanes. Someone criticizes you. The mirror reflects sound waves vibrating in the air, but our minds are rarely still. Our judgments, our stories, our fears are like shaking the mirror. The moment the event is reflected, we shake it with our judgment. That driver is a jerk. He disrespected me. The reflection is no longer clear. It is warped, ugly, and distorted. And it is this distorted image, not the original event, that we react to. Self-control is the art of learning to hold the mirror still. It is the practice of seeing an event for what it is, a neutral, objective fact, before you bury it under your layers of interpretation. Let's take a modern, terrifying example. You receive a text message from your partner or your boss that simply says, "We need to talk." What happens in your body? An instant jolt of adrenaline. Your heart rate quickens. Your stomach clenches. Your mind begins to race, catastrophizing. What did I do? This is it. I'm getting fired. They're breaking up with me. This is going to be terrible. An entire emotional storm, a full-blown crisis, has been manufactured in your mind by 4 simple words. You have shaken the mirror violently. Stoic practice is to catch yourself in that moment, to pause, to breathe, and to say to the feeling of dread, "You are just an impression, and not at all what you appear to be." Then you hold the mirror still. What are the objective facts? The facts are, you have received a digital message containing 4 specific words. That is all you know. Your story that it means you are in trouble, that something terrible is coming, is a complete fabrication. It is a guess. It is a ghost story you are telling yourself in the dark dot. By creating this pause, this space, you give yourself a moment of freedom. Freedom from your own automatic negative programming. In this space, you can choose your response. You can choose to remain calm. You can choose to reply with a simple, "Okay, when is a good time?" You can choose to meet the reality of the situation when it arrives, not the phantom of it that you have created in your head. This is not easy. It takes constant, vigilant practice. It's like training a muscle. The muscle of pausing. The next time you feel a strong negative emotion, anger, jealousy, fear, try to catch it at its birth. Don't fuse with it. Step back from it. See the external event, and then see the internal story you are telling about it. Separate the two. What is the raw data, and what is my interpretation? The emotional shift is from being a puppet of your own reactions constantly hijacked by your first impressions, to becoming a calm, objective observer of your own mind. You stop reacting to your fears, and you start responding to reality. And in that space between impression and reaction, you will not find control in the way you expect. You will find something much better. You will find peace. The world is too much. It is too big, too loud, too broken. We open our phones and we are flooded. A river of outrage, tragedy, and injustice from every corner of the globe pours directly into our nervous system. We see political strife. We see environmental crises. We see social suffering. At the same time, We are trying to manage our own lives, our health, our finances, our children, our relationships, our own quiet despairs. The feeling is one of being completely, utterly overwhelmed. It leads to one of two outcomes. Either we try to care about everything and we burn out, collapsing into a state of anxious, helpless exhaustion. Or, to protect ourselves, we shut down, collapsing into a state of cynical apathy where nothing seems to matter because everything is hopeless. Both paths lead to a dead-end. There's a third path. It is a Stoic path, based on that first great lesson of the dichotomy of control. It is about understanding the difference between your circle of concern and your circle of influence. Imagine the entire world, with all its problems and all its chaos, is a vast, wild landscape. It is full of storms, droughts, weeds, and fires. It is far too big for any one person to manage. To think you can control this entire landscape is a form of madness. It will break your heart and your spirit. But within this vast, wild landscape, you have been given a small plot of land. This is your garden. This garden is your circle of influence. It contains the things you have actual, direct control over. What is in your garden? Your thoughts, your actions, your habits, the words you speak to your family, the effort you put into your work, the food you put into your body, whether you choose to exercise or not, whether you choose to be kind to the cashier at the grocery store, whether you keep the promises you make to yourself. This is your garden. It is small, but it is yours. The great mistake we make is that we spend most of our time and energy standing at the edge of our garden, staring out at the wild landscape and worrying. We worry about the storms on the other side of the world. We yell at the weeds growing in our neighbor's yard. We despair about the drought in a distant continent. And all the while, our own small garden, the one place where we can actually make a difference, becomes overgrown with our own weeds of neglect. Self-control is the wisdom to turn your back on the distant chaos you cannot command, and to turn your attention to the small vital patch of earth that is your responsibility. It is the discipline to get on your hands and knees and to start quietly and diligently tending your own garden. To pull the weed of a bad habit, to plant the seed of a good one, to water the flowers of your relationships, to enrich the soil of your own mind through learning and practice. Think of that feeling of scrolling through your phone, the feeling of impotent rage or anxious despair as you consume an endless feed of bad news and angry arguments. You feel you should do something, but you don't know what. So you just keep scrolling, pouring your precious energy and attention into a black hole. The Stoic practice is to consciously put the phone down, to turn away from the chaotic landscape, and to look around your own garden. Is there a sink full of dishes that could be washed, bringing a small piece of order to your home? Is there a family member who looks lonely, who could be nourished by 5 minutes of your undivided attention? Is there a project you've been procrastinating, whose completion would improve your own life and well-being? You turn your focus from the uncontrollable global drama to the controllable local order. This is not an act of selfish apathy. It is the most practical and effective form of compassion. A beautiful, well-tended garden can become a source of peace and nourishment for others. A person who has their own life in order, who is calm, resilient, and virtuous, has a powerful positive effect on everyone they interact with. You do not heal the world by worrying about it. You heal the world by healing your own small corner of it. And that begins, always, with the quiet, humble, and deeply satisfying work of tending your own garden. The emotional shift is from a state of scattered, anxious impotence to one of focused, quiet agency. You stop feeling like a helpless victim of a broken world, and you start feeling like a hopeful creator of a better one, starting with the only part of it that was ever truly yours. Asterisk for this entire journey, we have been talking about tools. We have talked about building a fortress. We have talked about consulting a map. We have talked about running a fire drill. the hammer of voluntary discomfort, the soundproof room of the inner citadel. But now we arrive at the heart of the matter. The final, crucial insight. You are not just a soldier using these tools. You are something more. The moment of transformation, the true climax of this entire philosophy, is the realization that you are the architect. The struggle for self-control is not a series of small, disconnected battles against your impulses. It is not a war against your craving for sugar, your laziness, or your anger. To see it that way is to be stuck in an endless, losing fight. The real work is the single, continuous, and lifelong act of building a person. Every time you choose to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze, you are not just winning a small battle for productivity. You are laying a foundation stone for a disciplined person. Every time you pause before reacting to an insult, you are not just controlling your anger. You are building the walls of a patient and resilient person. Every time you choose the cold shower, you are not just waking yourself up. You are tempering the steel of a courageous person. Every time you remember your mortality, you are not just thinking about death. You are clarifying the blueprint for a meaningful life. The great emotional conflict we live with is the feeling that we are a finished product. We believe that our habits, our reactions, our character are fixed. We say, "This is just who I am." This belief is a prison. This insight is the key that unlocks the door. Self-control is not about restriction. It is the ultimate act of creation. It is the highest form of freedom. You are not just saying no to a bad habit. You are saying yes to the person you intend to become. The war within is not a war at all. Is a construction site, and you are the architect. You are the foreman. You are the bricklayer. The Stoic teachings are not a set of rules to confine you. They are the blueprint for your own masterpiece. This is the great shift. From feeling like a victim of your own psychology, a puppet of your own impulses, to seeing yourself as the conscious, powerful, and deliberate creator of your own character. All the scattered pieces of discipline, all the small daily choices, suddenly click into place. They are not random acts of self-denial. They are the methodical, patient, and loving construction of a soul. Your soul, asterisk, and so we come to the end. But it is not an end. It is a beginning. The goal of this journey was never to turn you into a robot, a machine of perfect, rigid self-denial. The goal was never to win the war within. The goal was to quiet the noise. To quiet the frantic, screaming, needy voice of impulse so that another voice could finally be heard. The quiet, steady, reasonable voice of your own true self, your inner citadel. Your guiding reason. True, sustainable self-control is not a constant, white-knuckled struggle. That is a life of exhaustion. It is the peaceful, almost effortless result of consistent, intelligent practice. Over time, it ceases to be a fight, and it becomes something more like a dance. It is the feeling of waking up in the morning and simply getting out of bed, without a committee meeting in your head to debate the issue. It is the ability to feel a wave of anger or anxiety rise within you, and to simply observe it with a calm curiosity, like watching the cloud pass in the sky, without being swept away by the storm. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing that whatever happens in the world outside, whatever storms may rage, whatever fortunes may change, your inner world is your own. A place of peace, a place of strength, a place you have built yourself brick by brick. The resolution is not a final, triumphant victory. There is no trophy to be won. It is the calm acceptance of a beautiful, ongoing practice. The work is never truly done, and that is the beauty of it. It is a path, not a destination. The peace you have been seeking was never on the other side of the battle. It was in the realization that you could lay down your arms. You could stop fighting reality, stop fighting yourself, and start building. The quiet discipline is not about what you resist. It is about what you create. And what you create is a life of freedom, a life of peace, a life of purpose. Your life. Subscribe for more.